Chapter 6. There are many things I expected to do this week. Finalize a seating chart. Approve floral arrangements. Answer 17 emails that all began with just a quick question. What I did not expect was to be standing in the middle of the city's botanical gardens, waiting for my fake boyfriend to arrive. This has officially become the strangest week of my life. I checked my watch. 2 minutes early. Of course I was. I was a wedding planner. Being early was less of a habit and more of a personality trait. Planner girl. I turned. Maddox was walking toward me with 2 iced coffees balanced in one hand and the most infuriatingly smug smile I'd ever seen. I come bearing caffeine. I accepted one. I would have accepted a written apology too. For what? For convincing me this was a good idea. I didn't convince you. You absolutely did. You said yes. You wore me down. I presented a compelling argument. I rolled my eyes. You should become a lawyer. Too much paperwork. You're literally in commercial property. Exactly. I laughed, shaking my head. Ready? He asked. For what? Practice. I stared at him. You make this sound like we're rehearsing for a Broadway show. We kind of are. We're attending a wedding. The biggest audience we'll ever have. That's somehow worse. He gestured toward the walking path lined with blooming roses. Come on. I fell into step beside him. For a few moments, we simply walked. Birds chirped overhead. Children laughed somewhere near the fountain. Couples wandered hand in hand, stopping to admire the flowers. Maddox noticed them too. He glanced sideways at me. We're doing it wrong. I frowned. Doing what wrong? The couple thing. What do you mean? They're walking together. We're walking together. Barely. I looked down. There was enough space between us for another person to fit comfortably. I don't see the problem. I do. Before I could ask what he meant, he gently closed the gap between us. Not touching, just closer. Close enough that our shoulders brushed. My heartbeat stumbled. There, he said. Much more convincing. I looked straight ahead. I don't think anyone's watching. They might. They're looking at the tulips. You can't be sure. I laughed. You're taking this far too seriously. I'm committed to the role. I've noticed. He smiled. Good. We continued walking. This time, shoulder to shoulder. It shouldn't have felt different. It did. After a minute, Maddox spoke again. Question. I'm almost afraid. How affectionate are you? I nearly choked on my coffee. I'm sorry? You heard me. I was hoping I hadn't. He grinned. If we're supposed to be dating for 3 months, we'd probably be a little more comfortable around each other. We're comfortable. You just sounded horrified. I am horrified. He laughed. You blush when you're horrified. I do not blush. He stopped walking. Slowly, dramatically, he looked at my face. Then he smiled. Oh, what? You absolutely blush. I absolutely don't. Planner girl. He pointed at my cheeks. You're matching the roses. I instinctively covered my face with one hand. I hate you. No, you don't. I strongly tolerate you. I'll take it. I groaned. This is exactly why fake dating was a terrible idea. He started walking again. And yet, I caught up beside him. You still showed up. I opened my mouth to argue. Nothing came out. Because annoyingly, he was right. I had shown up. Not because I had to. Not because he pressured me. Because somewhere between the coffee spill, the late-night texts, and the impossible grin that seemed permanently attached to his face, I'd started looking forward to seeing him. That realization was far more terrifying than pretending to be his girlfriend. So, Maddox said casually. Is ready for lesson 1? I sighed. I have a feeling I'm going to regret asking. He looked at me with entirely too much confidence. Today, he held out his hand. We practiced holding hands. I stared at it, then at him, then back at his hand. Oh, absolutely not. His grin only grew wider. I was hoping you'd say that. He kept his hand extended. I kept staring at it. No. Harper? No. We're practicing. We're standing in a botanical garden. Exactly. No one here knows us. But people at the wedding will. I folded my arms. You've thought about this far too much. I like to be prepared. I thought I was the planner. You are. I'm just your enthusiastic assistant. I laughed. I don't remember hiring you. You didn't. I certainly don't remember paying you. I work for coffee. That explains a lot. He wiggled his fingers. Come on. It's just holding hands. It's never just holding hands. He tilted his head. What does that mean? It means, I searched for the right words. It's weird. Because I barely know you. You know my favorite coffee. You hate mushrooms. You alphabetize your bookshelf. I blinked. You remembered that? You told me last Tuesday. That's annoyingly sweet. I know, I sighed dramatically. Fine. His eyebrows shot up. Really? Don't make me change my mind. I slipped my hand into his. Warm. That was my first thought. His hand was warm. My second thought was that his fingers fit around mine surprisingly naturally. My third thought was that I needed to stop having thoughts. There, he said softly. See? I see nothing. You didn't combust. I was hoping I might. He laughed. You'll survive. I remain unconvinced. We continued walking through the gardens, our hands still linked. I kept waiting for it to feel awkward. Instead, it just felt easier. Which was somehow worse. Maddox broke the silence first. So, how did we meet? I looked at him. I spilled coffee on you. We're not telling everyone that. Why not? I'd like your future in-laws to think you're capable of walking. They're not my in-laws. You know what I mean. I smiled. Fine. He cleared his throat dramatically. We met in Paris. We've both never been to Paris. They don't know that. They absolutely could. Good point. I pretended to think. What about a bookstore? You don't read fantasy. You know that? You told me. I narrowed my eyes. You remember everything. Only the important things. I looked away before he noticed the smile threatening to appear. Again. What about, he continued, a dog park? I don't own a dog. I don't either. Then why would we be there? I like dogs. I laughed. That's your whole explanation? They're excellent creatures. I can't argue with that. We wandered past a rose garden, stopping beside a small stone bridge overlooking a pond. Maddox looked around. This is nice. It is. He turned toward me. Okay. One last idea. I'm listening. The truth. I frowned. The truth? We met at Willow and Wheat. You spilled coffee on me. I forgave you. You bought me another coffee. We started talking. He shrugged. It's simple. I thought about it for a moment, then nodded. I actually like that. I know. You don't have to sound so pleased with yourself. Sus, I usually do. I rolled my eyes. We'll leave out the part where I nearly gave you a caffeine bath. Probably for the best. And the part where I apologized 17 times. I thought it was charming. It was embarrassing. It was adorable. I nudged his shoulder with mine. Stop saying that. Why? Because I couldn't think of a good reason. He noticed. Of course he did. A slow grin spread across his face. I've discovered something. I'm already concerned. Compliments make you flustered? They do not. They absolutely do. I scoffed. You're imagining things. Planner girl, what? You're blushing again. I covered my cheeks with my free hand. I am standing in direct sunlight. It's cloudy. I dislike how observant you are. He laughed. I'm making it my new hobby. What? Making you blush. I stared at him. Find a different hobby. No, it'll be good for your personal growth. I'm perfectly happy with this one. I shook my head, laughing despite every effort not to. You are impossible. And yet, he squeezed my hand ever so slightly. You're still holding mine. I looked down. We'd walked halfway through the gardens. I'd completely forgotten we were holding hands. Somehow, that realization made my cheeks even warmer. Maddox noticed immediately. Oh, this is definitely becoming my favorite hobby. I am never speaking to you again. You say that now. I mean it. You'll text me before dinner. Probably. I know. I hated how well he knew me already, almost as much as I hated how much I liked that he did.